And welcome back to Japan. Yes, it is that time again. It is that time of year when we celebrate this year's annual Baka Japan Music Awards. And, well, to be perfectly honest, this is the fourth one now. The fourth. I cannot believe we've been doing this channel for 4 years, but we have, and we're heading into our 5th year, and so much has changed, so many good things. So before we get into the awards, first of all, just sort of saying a big thank you to everyone who's been here. You've noticed many things have changed. Many important things have changed for the channel this year, including, for example, out of necessity, we now film on this little fisheye Chinese knockoff GoPro lens. And I guess one of the benefits of that is I never have to worry about whether the camera's in focus or not. No more out of focus awards like we've had a couple of years before. We now present everything with this wonderful red frame around me, which I thought was kind of cool at first. I thought, hey, this is nice. It's like we're taking a bit of the Japanese flag and putting into it, and then everyone pointed out, Howard, it looks really communist. So, comrades, here we are. We've introduced this little frame in the corner. This frame, this little rectangle, I think this is rather cool. Got that inspired to do that from actually doing it originally in some of the previous Baka Awards. And we're like, hey, let's do that for every single video. And then I realized how much editing goes into putting that in every single video. But hey, at least we've got this. This is our little menu that shows you all the things I'm going to talk about and completely removes any sense of suspense from any of these videos. And there we go. And lovely change of look. In fact, the look even went to changing the thumbnails of our videos to have wonderful quotes such as "any good?" written on them, assuring that we piss off fans of music before they even hear our reviews. And while talking of reviews, it's time to get into our awards. Wait, talking of reviews, it's time to get into our awards. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just go along with it. This year's going to be a little bit different from previous ones in that this year is a much more chilled out, straight shooting affair, I think. I'm just going to read the awards because some of these awards have come from us, sort of repeating the awards that we've done in previous years, and some of them have been recommended by you guys. We're going to do this in 2 segments, as we usually do. The first segment being some of our more bizarre awards that are very unique to the Baka broadcast, and then the second segment is going to be more focusing on our genuine picks of the best of certain categories. So let's jump straight in with our Best Hiatus Award. This started last year, and yes, Best Hiatus is a category that is very close to our hearts. Now, obviously, we've had superb bands like Silent Siren go on hiatus. Oh, how we miss them. But of course, the problem with Silent Siren's hiatus, although it's fantastic, is the fact that it just makes me sad and they don't seem to be coming back. However, the Best Hiatus Award has to once again go to baby metal. And I know you're thinking, well, they're coming out of their hiatus. Well, the reason why they get the Best Hiatus Award this year is because of how they've dealt with coming out of their whole hiatus thing. The way that they've transitioned back into reality. Of course, we still haven't really heard the new album. There's a lot left to come out still. But it's just been amazing how they've teased little bits. Every single one of their teasers has felt like it's built up to something, it's paid off. They've engineered it in the way that only baby metal could. They have got, I think, most of us excited. I mean, I've raised questions about what I think the new album's going to be based on some things about the brilliant first 2 songs that they've released. But they have dealt with coming out of their hiatus fantastically. And given that it was almost exactly 1 year, I feel like the hiatus was so engineered that I don't even think it was a hiatus. I think it was just a gap between 2 albums that they decided to make more dramatic. So this is such a good hiatus that you wouldn't even notice that it's kind of not really a hiatus. There you go, Baby Metal wins that award. So on to our next award. This is a new one, and this was one that was recommended, and I really like this idea, which is the weirdest business move. Or in other words, we talk a lot of the time about bands who do things where I often talk about from the music industry side of things. Worked with music my entire adult life. I often talk about just how weird some of the decisions that certain bands make can be. How sometimes there will be something that a band does where you just think, what are you doing? How are you getting across to your fans here? Is this just bad marketing? Is this bad pricing? Things like the NFT thing that Baby Metal had, where I was just thinking, who is this for? But really, honestly, the weirdest business move of all has to go to, well, I just mentioned it a moment ago, and they don't exist anymore. But I'm still going to give it to Silent Siren, because Silent Siren, look, Silent Siren have become sane, which is the thing that exists between the former members and the writer, and they've kind of created this thing. But does anyone actually know what Sane is yet? I don't really think I do. Sane, I was really excited. Like, okay, is this going to be some organization where they get new artists and they bring them up and they introduce them, and like a management agency? But I don't think anyone knows a year in what Sane is. And then we have Chateau, the Chateau app. I have had this app for about a year now. I don't know what it is. It seems to be like a fan club where you can see stuff that's being posted by the members. They got like little videos, but if you try to click on the members videos, it says members only on them, so you can't view the videos. So it's a thing where you pay to see what Silent Siren are doing, which if I had more money I probably would, but it seems to be less of a... I don't know what it is, but I can't delete it because it's Silent Siren, and even if I'm not a member I still get to see that they're posting stuff. This is a weird business move. It must have cost money, and it must still be costing them money to have this platform, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what Sane is. Silent Siren, please make it clear what the hell your plan is. Anyway, because we're the brokest channel on YouTube, we decided that one of the big changes we're going to do is we're going to be picking up sponsorship. So it's time to hear from our first sponsor.
Have you ever wondered to yourself, what does it take to be a least successful streamer in the Baka broadcast community? Well, come follow me, Baka Bubs on Twitch, Monday to Friday, where my gaming fails will become legendary and my personality will become obviously the reason I'm not successful. Baka Bubs on Twitch, Monday to Friday. I fail because you don't have to.
Well, that was a thing that happened. Cheers, Bubs. Cool. Bubs is sponsoring us. So let's move on to our next award, which is for the worst title. Now, this was originally suggested because, partly I think, just because of the number of times we talked about Scandal. We love Scandal, but Scandal have gone into this phase of titling things in a really boring way. And so I think everyone was kind of thinking this is going to be Scandal, like one of their songs, like the album which has the name Mirror, which is super generic, or like a song called Eternal or One More Time, although most of that was originally released last year, as in 2021, because this is the 2023 awards for 2022. Makes perfect sense. But no, Scandal don't win this. In fact, it's not for something bland, it's for something really bizarre. Glim Spanky, Into the Time Hole. Now, where do we begin with this? Apart from the fact that just the word hole never sounds like it, just that's not a word used. Into the time hole. It's not a, I don't know. And then what is the time hole? I mean, we're thinking time hole, is this like a portal? There's so many much more interesting fascinating words you could use for a portal or a black hole or a wormhole or something. I'm thinking scientific, it's got a scientific feel. Or even if you wanted to be nostalgic, you could go for words like through the time door or something like this. But into the time hole, it's no. I don't know, it just sounds weird. It sounds like someone's trying to do something really imaginative but weren't imaginative about the wording. However, it is an awesome album, actually. Do listen to this album, partly because you'll get a chuckle looking at it going into the time hole, and secondly because it's a really good album. You get to listen to good music. I mean, Glim Spanky on top form as always. So Into the Time Hole, brilliant album, but in this case it is the winner of the worst title of 2022. And that brings us on to our next award, and this is one that we've been doing for a while actually. I think this is a very important one because customer feedback is very close to our hearts here at Baka Broadcast. Therefore, we have to talk about the most hated review award. Well, this is not a hated music video at all. This is a very much loved music video. But this year, I've been catching up with a band who I really wanted to catch up with for a while, but it just hadn't got around to it. And this year, I've been spending a lot of time catching up with Love Bites. Now, I know there's a lot of people, either a Love Bites fan or a baby metal band-maid fan. Can't speak right now. You're a fan of one of them, basically. And And usually the fans don't cross over that much. And in the case of Band-Maid and Love Bites, it tends to be almost a sort of degree of animosity. But I've never felt that. I feel like the bands are all very different. And when it comes to Love Bites, I've been enjoying the journey. But the one thing I've noticed is that, as on this channel, we don't kiss any ass and we do tell it as it is, there are some fans of some bands who don't take well to not seeing a reaction video with constant praise. Now, Love Bites fans in general have been very, very good with us. Usually we get at least 90% approval on their videos, and we've got a lot of new subscribers from Love Bites, and so much credit to you. You guys are the genuine Wolfpack who are able to listen to genuine opinions and like the conversation. However, some people don't like that so much, and in the case of the video for Shadowmaker, we got really a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like that. Not as bad as when James was doing videos on this channel all the time and he was just straight up insulting people to their faces. But yes, Love Bites, Shadowmaker, I enjoyed that song. And yet still, all those heinous compliments I gave it, they weren't enough. My review of Shadowmaker is the most hated video this channel has released last year. Thank you very much for crowning at that. So, time to move on to our next award. And our next award is actually going to be presented by a guest presenter because he himself is a previous award winner. Yes, this is the Best Presenter Award, which is going to be presented by the original first winner, the man who won it in its first year, Bubbles. Bubs, present that award.
Hey all, it's my furry head, Baka Bubs here. So, first time winner, now presenting to the next times winner. That makes sense. We had a tough category this year. We had some other nominees, like some guy called Howardo. Don't know, a Japanese guy with a Spanish name. Sounds weird. A cat who hates ham, the ever saintly bog roll, and other. But the real winner is the best nominee here. The ever smiley, the ever wonderful, the ever enthusiastic lover of stuffed pig toys, Nam. Nam can't be here with us today, but she's going to join us via video, which will not have all the aesthetics of a kidnap plea that myself and Howard professionally work on.
Hello, I'm Nam, and thank you so much for the award, and I like this pig, but do you know what I like even more? Howard's presenting. He's the best presenter of all. Howard should have won this award, but thank you anyway. I greatly appreciate it. Back to you guys. Howard, you're awesome. You're the best presenter in the world. Thanks, Nam. You deserved that. Of course, as you said, probably I deserved it too, but you did fantastic, Nam, and great luck in the future. You've got a wonderful teacher in your presenting career. Anyway, on to the next award. So our next award is Best... This one was another one that you guys recommended. Best Photograph of a Musician with a Soft Toy. Now, this has been a running sort of meme with the channel, that we just started posting pictures of musicians, Japanese musicians, with like soft plush toys. And that led to the 1,000 sub achievement video that I did, which was a compilation of some of the best ones that you guys had sent me. But of course, asking me to give an award in this case is just stupid because you know what I'm going to say. Hashtag no bias, Yukaran wins. Yes, that's correct. We've now given, 2 awards to Silent Siren, 2 awards to a band who doesn't even exist anymore. Well, they're on hiatus, so technically they exist. Still, we're giving them awards anyway. Yukaran obviously wins because the picture is just perfect. You can see her joy. You can see that she is hugging the bears, and the bears are almost happy too. It is a perfect picture in every single way. There is no feeling that she's uncomfortable. The bears are the right size. She is the right size. It is a perfect place to be. In fact, the only thing that is criminal is that it's not me. Anyway, moving on. We're going to go to our next award, which is for the Best Emotional Moment. And this is actually kind of a dramatic one. This was asked for by you guys. Again, this is another audience requested award for this year. And best emotional moment, I was thinking so much about so many things I wanted to put in. I thought a little bit about Bish's last video that just came out. We think it's going to be the last one. I assume it will be. And that was such a perfect one. But at the back of my head, I was like, I think that was, it was well directed. The real emotion is going to be when they have their final show. And it suddenly occurred to me, actually, the most emotional moment was not really something that I covered yet. I haven't posted the video about this yet, but it was when I went to see Trident and Fleur Fleur play live. And as you guys probably know, Fleur Fleur had announced their breakup before this show. This was their first show after the announcement of their impending breakup. And there was a moment where the lead singer, and they really blew me away. Obviously I'll be posting a full video about that I've already recorded so you guys can see my full opinions on that. But they really blew me away live. But there was this one moment where they just stopped and decided to talk about it. And the lead singer was sort of fighting back the tears and eventually kind of broke into like a bit of a waterfall on her face while still stiff upper lipping her way through. And the rest of the band was standing there, kind of like the guitarist, she was kind of staying cool and had her eyes kind of closed, looking down. The bassist was looking across, checking that the singer was okay, and the drummer was kind of almost hiding behind the kit. And you kind of got this feeling that it was just such a raw, honest emotion. And although maybe there are other things that people could point out which were more emotional that happened this year, from my perspective, seeing that and the rawness and honesty of that moment, definitely the most emotional moment. And when we do this channel, we talk very much about music as what it is, as a creation, an artistic creation, a product, how entertaining it is. But those moments are the moments where I really like to connect with and see the humanity of a band. And yeah, so Fleur Fleur blew me away, absolutely blew me away live. They were fantastic. I think, like a lot of people, I was there to see the upcoming Trident, but Fleur Fleur were the band who just took me with the honesty and the brilliance of playing. And it's such a shame they're going away. Such a shame. So yeah, most emotional moment, Fleur Fleur. And on that note, while you're full of emotion, let's go and see another advert. I mean, I don't think we're sponsored by anyone else, so I'm guessing this will be our advert. Alright, let's see how this goes.
Have you been wondering how to become a successful YouTuber? Have you been wondering what it takes to be an online personality? Do you know what kind of software is used? Do you know how to edit? Do you know what equipment you need? Well, if you need a lesson in failing upwards, come watch Baka Broadcast, the finest in Japanese music reviews and shit talking. Baka Broadcast. We do it so you can see how it should be done better.
Yeah. Thanks, Bubs. This new career of advertising, you've got a long future ahead of you in the marketing divisions of the world, Bubbles. Anyway, on to our next award, which is for the surprise new artist. So we're really now looking more at the music awards here, but when we go into these ones, the first few awards I want to do are very much about sort of things that have kind of surprised us and impressed us in a way that, kind of more out of the ordinary rather than saying what's the best and worst of anything. But yeah, I did want to start with a surprise new artist. Talking about the artist who I didn't really know anything about before, and then just suddenly hit me like, wow, okay, this is awesome. And I'm going to do this in a very weird way because the artist themselves, like the band, I already knew very well. But it's the one member who wins the New Artist Award for me, Surprise New Artist Award. And that is Utaha from Wednesday Campanella. I think there's something amazing about being an engaging singer who can sing, rap, have a visual, like a whole visual style and a persona and be likable whilst also being weird. But the most amazing thing is to do that in a band that was already established and with a singer who herself had a very strong personality and who I was a big fan of. Now, often when bands replace any member, but especially a singer, their main thing is, okay, we just need someone who has a similar voice, who can carry the songs we already have, but, they can fit in, but people will like them. And we've seen this with, like, so many bands who, like, change their lead member. But when it comes to Wednesday Campanella, it was weird. I think I told you guys when I first reviewed their songs with Utaha in, I just thought she was some actress in the music video. I didn't know they'd replaced the singer. I guess if I'd really listened side by side to both singers, I could have told. But, you know, the one thing that characterizes both of them is that they do so many different styles of singing, so it's not particularly easy to pin it down. But just hearing Utaha sing, at first she was definitely capturing everything that their fantastic original commie singer, red border, had in her skill set. But then when you realised that it was actually this girl who was so engaging and bright and fun in the music video, she is a new singer, it just kind of blew me away. She is incredibly talented. She captures the skill of what Wednesday Campanella already did, and she's adding a flair of it. She's adding her own personality. As I pointed out originally, just both the ability as a front member of the band to have the visual style, to have the personality. She's so engaging and charming. I've got to be honest, anyone who's got like any piercings through here, I kind of just find that a bit like, yeah. I could sit and watch her doing music videos for hours because just her personality is amazing. And then just on top of the vocal performance, if you haven't heard her doing those first take videos, I'm sure you've seen a lot of them around, she did a couple of those first take videos. And she's so on point going from the rap to the singing. She's pinpoint perfect with her pitch. She's on with the rhythm whilst also giving it a bit of character and not sounding too robotic. Yeah, she's fantastic. Utaha is definitely my Surprise New Artist award winner. So now we're going to move on to the next one, which is for Variation. This is our Variation Award. And for our Variation Award, I am going to go for really a whole album here. Because the idea of this award is to get an artist who has done something significantly different, who's challenged their fans, who could have just stayed in one lane and everyone would have been okay with it. But they decided to do something different and, you know, for the better. And in this case, I'm giving it to the album Mirror by Scandal. Now, I think this is a very important award, actually. Now, I would agree with most people. I mean, Mirror is not my favourite Scandal album, but it's definitely not a bad album at all. It's a very good album. And I would agree that a lot of people that it is one that's kind of divisive, that maybe splits a lot of the fan base. It has tracks in it I don't like, it has tracks in it I do like. But it's the fact that it's such a different thing. It still sounds like Scandal. It's still got some songs that are quintessentially Scandal. But it moves in this direction where there's virtually no real rock songs on it, to be fair. It's very atmospheric. It plays, although it has got a couple of good singles, it plays more like an album that needs to be listened to cover to cover. It's something that certainly does show a very different approach to album construction, and it has a very different feeling. Now, obviously, there was a lot of sadness that went into various songs, a lot of heartbreak that you can feel in some of it, and there is definitely a much more introspective vibe to this than with previous Scandal. It's been a lot more fun, in your face, a lot more sort of extroverted. However, I can't help but feel that the pure quality with which they constructed this, that it's better and worse moments, it's better and worse qualities. I did review the album in full, but the sheer quality with which it's constructed just lets you know this is an artist who have gone for variation and nailed it. Scandal have always been good at variation, but this was a big sidestep. Whether they keep on doing music like this or whether they go back and just leave this as one pleasant footnote, I felt it was very brave, very well executed. Variation Award goes to Scandal for Mirror. Now, next we're going to talk about the Most Improved Artist. It's a difficult one. A lot of people are going to disagree on this one, but this is an important one. Most Improved Artist. This one was requested a lot. A couple of people actually gave this suggestion to me. Howard, you should say who your Most Improved Artist is. Now, this is different from the Surprise Artist because this is an artist who I knew, and whether I liked them or not before, I feel like they've stepped up a long way. And this has to go to Nemophila. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are diehard Nemophila fans who go like, Nemophila have always been great, they started perfect, they've always been perfect. I've been kind of reserved about my opinions. I did do a video where I said what I think Nemophila could do to improve, and I think they've done better than I could have ever have suggested. But since then, a lot has changed with what we've heard from Never Feeler. Now, originally they started doing covers, which I think is a great way of getting a band started if you're really trying to build up material. And a lot of people were sort of waxing about, oh yeah, they got great covers. I listened to a lot of their covers, and I've got to be honest, I found most of their cover songs, I just didn't find them very interesting. Then they started coming out with music, and I thought, okay, the music in general feels pretty derivative. And I was starting to think, well, there's a lot of talent in, like, you know, the singer's got a great voice, there's a lot of great musicians in this band, but where are the songs? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, like in 2022, they really started turning it around. We had some really strong songs towards the latter half of 2022. I mean, songs like Style, we're not going to say that's their best song, but it showed a real sort of creative vision. They knew what they were going for, and they put it together well. Just the whole feeling that their rockier songs became more unique, became more the sound of a band who are not a cover group but have their own identity. Their ability to integrate sounds that were a little bit more poppy was there. Their use of the screamo stuff, which I'm not as into. Oh, sorry, some people say, oh, it's not screamo, Howard, it's rough vocals. No, rough vocals is when you have a fucking cold. Screamo. Okay. Call it metal vocals, whatever. Their use of that became more discerning, more careful. I just felt like Never Feeler have gone from a band who I was kind of apprehensive about reviewing, and at one point I was almost thinking I don't really want to review them anymore because I don't like just sort of talking bad about bands that people clearly like, to now they're a band who I'm actually excited when they have a new song. I'm like, yeah, cool, new Never Feeler, let's check it out. So yeah, absolutely, most improved artist in my eyes, definitely Never Feeler. It's time for the Musicianship Award. Yes, musicianship. This is the thing that a lot of people care about. And I think I'm going to probably ruffle some feathers here because some people are going to get me on the hashtag no bias thing for this. But the Musicianship Award, in my opinion, I really struggle to think about it. Now, obviously, we've given it in the past to groups like Glim Spanky, who are just fantastic. They had new material this year. To Band-Maid, they had new material this year. But you know, a good band is always a good band, and you know, I don't want to sort of repeatedly give it over and over to the same artist. So I was looking for which band has impressed me with their musicianship this year, and who we haven't really credited with it before. And it did occur to me that as much as I love this band, they deserve this big time. I'm giving the Best Musicianship Award, oh, it's going to be controversial, I think, to Trident. Now, why? Why to Trident? Part of it does come back to the fact that they're a three-piece band. Now, when we look at Glim Spanky, they're obviously two-piece, but they're very direct sounding. It's all very direct. When we look at a bigger band like Band-Maid, obviously there's a lot of them doing a lot of things. When we look at a band like Trident, they are a three-piece, as the name suggests, smaller band, but they're going for a bigger sound. They're trying to do music that is very busy. Yes, they do use a lot of layering in their recordings, and they're not afraid of leaning into production. However, just the sheer level of musicianship that goes in, you can both hear it when they are playing their songs, you can see it when they play live. I really liked when we saw the four-piece Fleur Fleur at that live show. They played Cry Out by Trident. They did their own cover of it, and seeing it played with the two guitarists next to each other, you suddenly realise there's a lot going on here. The musicianship from this band is brilliant. All of them seem to be willing to give their little bit of vocal energy in, even if it's just like Nagisa shouting at the back. The vocal work from the lead singer Asaka is absolutely brilliant. She is a superb singer who's getting better and better and better. Powerful voice that she uses well and with emotion and style. Her guitar work is superb, especially for someone who's singing and playing. The fact that her vocals and her guitar work are both so strong, superb. Really, really impressed with that. Just the amount of detail she puts into the guitar, and it's not just needless twiddle. She knows when to accent, the bits to do. She plays with emotion in the same way as she sings to emotion. Just a masterclass. Then Serena's actually quite reserved as the bass guitarist, but when you hear what she's doing on bass a lot of the time, again, fantastic bass work there. She might not be a lot of people's number one bass player, but you cannot take away just how much quality she has, and whilst delivering backing vocals a lot of the time as well. Brilliant. And a lot of people have been shitting on Nagisa, to be honest, because she's the new drummer. I think she's one of the most perfect fits for a band I've ever seen. I was talking about how Uta has such a perfect fit for Wednesday Campanella. Same thing here. Nagisa, ever since she stepped into Trident, I think she's upped the game. She matches the energy of the other two members, whilst also being a wonderful contrast. She is willing to play in a sort of direct, not overly showy way, and yet when you see her play live, or when you just see the little fills and things she does, you know that she's got the talent. She's just not trying to overdo it. She's playing the right things in the right places. Again, showing a restraint that's just as important to good musicianship as anything else. Trident have been superb musicians. Their songwriting is what I often go on about, and it is brilliant, and it is getting better and better and better. But their musicianship has just been on point throughout, and again, they showed it this year. So best musicianship, I'm giving that to Trident, guys. Giving it to Trident. Anyway, I think it's time for another advert. Apparently, it would appear, according to my notes here, that we do actually have another sponsor. Now, I don't know about this. I'm guessing Bubbles doesn't own any other companies, so I'm not sure who would want to sponsor us, given the general quality of the output we have here. Let's find out who our other sponsor is.
Rough day. New YouTube show you watch talks all about Japanese music and never mentions anime once? Then you need Top Value Bar Reel. It's 50 yen cheaper than the nearest competitor and 20% more alcohol than anything you've ever put in your body. Relax, enjoy, and realize that things will never get better. And for everything else, there's Top Value Bar Reel.
Wow, that's a sponsor who I would normally be happy with, but with Bubbles' marketing skill, kind of left a bit of a bitter taste. Thanks for that, Bubbles. Oh well, let's go on to our last 4 awards then, because our last 4 awards are the big ones. These are ones that really we try to do these every year, and these are the 4 that I'm always really excited to do. Now, the first one is kind of a bit of a strange one. We've been doing this from year 1. We kind of just lovingly called it the Pride of Japan Award, but what it really means is we're talking about the artist who has been the best spokesman for Japanese music outside of Japan. And a lot like the Musicianship Award, this is one that there's certain artists who you feel like you give it to every year, like Baby Metal. But we wanted to go for a different artist and really look at someone else. Now, as we talked about, Baby Metal, Band-Maid, these are obvious ones who've just been so superb. Scandal, obviously, another great one. But this year, I wanted to talk about, well, a band who are on the way out. And that's Bish. See, Bish, I think, definitely, before they do leave us, do deserve to be described as one of the prides of Japan. They are an artist who really kind of came out of left field. We think a lot about what people like overseas about Japanese music, and a lot of the time it will be either the very sort of otaku-y pop stuff, or it will be the very heavy like rock stuff which relates to an already kind of metal-loving palette that a lot of Western music fans have. But Bish has been something very different. Bish has been a group who have been superb at giving variation, like we said about Scandal before. Their songs are very varied. They really test the audience. They require an audience who aren't just coming for one stereotype, but are really open to hearing something, an artist who themselves is based on variation. They got a style and an image that isn't any particular stereotype either. They're not quite poppy enough to be a pop group. They're not quite metal enough to be a metal or a punk group. They are a group who have just really excelled on being quirky, but also quality. And I feel like their run of songs that they've produced, 12 songs this year, not everyone's going to agree, but I just think that they've been 12 of their best songs. Some of them weaker than others, but as a general, just a list of really brilliant songs. And I enjoyed that so much, and hearing how many of their fans were from overseas, seeing the praise heaped upon their videos by overseas fans, you kind of realize that Bish, they might not be the biggest name in Japanese music outside of Japan, but they're certainly big. They're big enough that I was on that NHK World show where they were talking all about how many fans Bish has outside of Japan. They're big enough for that, and frankly, they're bringing something, or they're for a little while longer bringing something which really does stand out as being quite special, quite different, quite unique. And I can't help but feel that to let them get through to their last year without giving them this award would be a terrible mistake. Bish really are one of the groups that I think Japan should be very proud of. They're weird, they're controversial at times, but they've done a fantastic job in promoting the interesting, less obvious elements of Japanese music to overseas fans, and it does seem to have really settled in. It does seem to have had an impact. It does seem to have connected to at least enough people to make it worth a little NHK World documentary. So Bish, for this year you are the pride of Japan, as voted for by foreigners. Anyway, let's move on to our next award, because there's only 3 left, and most catchy song. This one's going to be controversial. There was a lot of songs to pick from. Now, obviously, I know Baby Metal's the most recent one. I've forgotten the name. The song name wasn't catchy, but the song itself was insanely catchy. Baby Metal have had a couple of really catchy songs. Their 2 songs come back from their hiatus, super catchy. Not quite enough. I was surprised how catchy Unlucky Morpheus' Welcome to Valhalla was, even though most of what was catchy about that was the riff, but I thought I can't quite give it to that because the fact it's a riff that's primarily catchy. We have Pyo by Bish, super catchy, but I was thinking it's catchy, but it's catchy in that kind of short chorus earworm way where I'm not really sure if that's the best chorus of the year, but it's a damn good chorus. No, I'm actually going to give the most catchy award to a song that came out relatively recently, and by a band who are a bit of an award sponge on this channel. We do like to give them awards, even though they're not exactly everyone's favourite. For me, the most catchy song of the year, and maybe it was just how infectiously joyful and energetic it was, but I have to give it to, you're going to hate me for this, Alia, Cinderella Story. This song just had me from immediately, just grabbed me. I just loved it. I love the whole arrangement of the song. I love the bridge. Is it going to get Best Bridge Award? We'll find out. I love the video. Is it going to get Best Video Award? We'll find out. But to be honest, the chorus, even though it's not immediately the most standout part of the song, I was really surprised how that chorus just stayed with me, just went around and around in my head. It's been with me ever since I first heard it, but just, it's a good, wholesome chorus as well. It's a chorus that is full of energy, so every time it goes around in your head, it doesn't get irritating. You just think, yeah, this is a really energetic chorus that fills you with joy. It's got a nice flow to it. It's not just repeating the same line over and over again. It was the most catchy. It was just, for me, it was the best chorus. I love the chorus to this song. It's not going to be to everyone's taste. Yes, it does sound a little bit like it has fallen quite close to the tree in regards to previous Alia songs, but this one, to me, just, yeah, this chorus just worked. It's the one that's been stuck in my head. I have to give Cinderella Story by Alia Catchiest Song Award. Two more awards. Well, one of them has to be for the best bridge. The best bridge. This is my favorite award because I love bridges. People, a bridge can make or break a song, you know that, and a good bridge takes, you can have a good chorus, you can have a great chorus, but having a good chorus, if it's not linked together with good verses, and most importantly the bridge, the thing that makes in most cases that last chorus matter, leads you up to the last final taste of the song, you need a good bridge. And who had the best bridge? Well, like I said, Ali had a great chorus and had a great bridge to go with it, but not quite the best. No. The best, that was Band-maid. Band-maid's song Influencer is the best bridge of the year. Now, their technique was a bit of an old school one. I like bridges that have multiple phases, but I always say a multiple phase bridge has to take you in a direction, has to deliver you well. It has to turn the energy that you had in the initial part of the song and translate it into a little journey, different direction, okay, but translate it into giving you that final blast, taking you to the end of the song perfectly. And this did it in the sort of traditional way of having several little segments broken up, last 2 of them being solos, but they were so perfectly executed. The way that it goes down to Psyche's kind of rap bit, really loved it. She delivered it perfectly, with a lot of personality, a lot of room, just loved that little rap bit she does at the end. Then where does it go from there? We go into a bass solo, a Misa bass solo, with, I should point out, some really great drum work coming over the top of that. Akane, always, #no bias, brilliant. Yeah, that was so engaging, and then it blasts into a final guitar solo, but as is often the case with the best guitar solos we get from Konami, is she could have just kind of, twiddled away furiously, but she didn't. What she did was she did a sort of a riff-based solo, and that worked so nice. It was somewhere between a riff, somewhere between a solo. It was so engaging that it gave the extra power that twiddling away randomly wouldn't have done. It energized you and built you up for the final chorus. I loved that bridge, and it is the best bridge of the year. And I should also point out as well, the little backing vocals you get from Psyche and from Miku in that bridge, they again just layer it up and make it work so well. So best bridge of the year, Band-maid. Okay, it's time for our final award of the day, and our final award is for the best video. This is a bit of a strange one, because on this channel we don't go for like doing a best song or a best album or anything like that, because we cover so many different genres that it feels almost ridiculous to even try and do that. So what does a best video mean? Well, basically it's one where we say, this was a really good song, and it was a really good song paired with a video that got the most out of it. It's kind of something almost like a subjectively harmless kind of final award we can do, where it's just saying, here is a good package deal. Was it the best chorus? Maybe, maybe not. Was it the best bridge? Maybe, maybe not. Was it the best song? Maybe, maybe not. But it was something that was really good and had a visual aspect that brought the most out of it. It's the complete package that I think I enjoyed the most. Now, in a rather weird turn of events here, there was a few songs that I wanted to put forward. There was a few songs that could have definitely won this. I called quite early that I felt that Pyo by Bish was the one I was going to go for. And any other year that would definitely win it. Just the joy on their faces, the expression, it was a brilliant video. Absolutely loved it. If I was saying which one did I watch to death, probably again would say Cinderella Story by Alia. I just loved the whole way that moved. It was just, I loved the visual aspect, the energy, the song, again, brilliant. Problem with that is I've got to be, that's like hyper subjectively something I just know I like. And I also know that that song was following a lot of beats from their earlier videos and songs. Okay. So which one can really win this? Well, I hate to do this because I've already just given them an award. The only video that could really win this year, it had to be Unleashed by Band-maid. Now, I love this song. People, different opinions from different people. I thought this was a fantastic song. Arguably still my favourite song on their album. I don't know if it's between that and Influencer, but I love the song. It's brilliant, high energy, fast. And the video, just the sheer amount of clever things in there. The way it goes from like being animated to in person, live action, to animated again. The number of references to little things, them animating themselves in their previous music videos, the area where they're sort of performing and then you see them being seen on screens, and then the last bit where it's kind of like an anime rip-off of Sailor Moon, but done because of their love of it. The number of those little things, like the Sailor Moon reference, that you'd have to be a fan to even know why they were doing that. All of these details, and then combining that with the fact that it matched the whole feeling around their journey through the whole COVID period, that tied with such a brilliant song, it was just an amazing complete package. And I was just astounded by it. I loved it when I first saw it, and then just as it started to sink in what all the individual elements were, as I read people saying, oh, how did you notice this, did you notice that? Often when you've got a video that's full of references or story or message, it kind of detracts, it kind of gets in the way. We've all seen those music videos before where there's a story and it starts one thing, and those videos, often they're not as fun to watch as the performance ones, because after you've seen them 5 or 6 times, you're just like, it's like watching the same story over and over again. I just want to watch the performance aspect now. This wasn't like that. This was visually engaging and energetic. You could get the references. You could get the story from it, but at its heart, it was just cool images, nicely cut, nicely edited, with brilliant performance bits in there as well, and a feeling that matched the song and ended gleefully, energetically, powerfully. Brilliant song, brilliant video, unquestionable winner for me. So yeah, although there's so many songs I wanted to give that to, you couldn't avoid the fact that it had to be Unleashed. So there you go. Those are our awards this year. No big dramatic ending this time. No. We're just gonna walk off into the sunset. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you all for your contributions over the last year. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You guys have kept me alive. Kept me in a position at least where I could do this channel. Kept me in a position where I was happy to keep on fighting through issues like with the whole career thing, with issues with just like everything kind of seeming difficult this year. You guys made this all possible. And so I really hope that you enjoyed this year with us. As always, we take time New Year to think about some cool ideas for the upcoming year. We've got some great ideas I want to move forwards with. And I just really want to say that I'm excited for next year. I'm excited to share it with you guys. Can't imagine what great music there's going to be. We already know some things are coming out. Looking forward to that new Baby Metal album. Looking forward to a bunch of new albums. I'm sure Scandal as always will just surprise us with, hey, we recorded an album. Just didn't bother to tell you about it. Maybe Siren will come back. And who knows what new artists that we'll find that we haven't heard of. Yeah, I'm excited, and it's a journey that is made 1,000 times better by sharing it with you guys. And I hope that you guys are going to enjoy sharing it with me and listening to me waffle on and talk shit. So anyway, there it is. Your awards for this year. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now. Ciao, ciao. I'm not going anywhere, I just need a piss.